and welcome to today's video. I still don't have that damn mic, which is I'm not too happy about that, but it is what it is. Today I'm going to make a video based upon a post by Mr. Jay Lagan from one of the Facebook groups I frequent. I actually get on really well with Jay. We often go for coffee and do business, so he's a character, that's for sure. What I'll do is I will simply read it off the screen, and it is an absolute brilliant point. So it starts off with, he says, recently I've noticed people getting stackers fatigue. The price is going nowhere, and we're wondering how have we bet on the wrong horse. And then he says he's done a little bit of research, which, although not scientific, it raises a very pertinent point. So he starts off with the sovereign. The gold sovereign has a face value of £1 and used to be in circulation and is still legal tender in the UK. Well, he read an article about house prices in the UK, and according to the article, back in 1910, there was a house on Chancery Lane in London which would have cost £11,000 roughly. So he decided to go back and look into the numbers of what gold and silver would cost. He uses a website called Zoopla, which is one of the big two housing companies. Not to be biased, the other one is I can't actually think what the other one is. That's really bad. My friend actually works at the company as well, so I should know. Doesn't matter. Essentially they compare the prices in the UK. So he checked the price on Zoopla for the average house price on Chancery Lane in London, and the figure came back with 2.33 million. So the actual number was £2,334,838. He then goes on to suggest if a gold sovereign has a value of £1, it would take 11,000 of them to buy a house on Chancery Lane in 1910 in London, and goes down to break down the maths behind it. So 11,000 sovereigns times 0.2354 troy ounces, which is the amount of gold in sovereigns, equals 2,589.4 troy ounces of gold. He then times it by the current spot price, which comes out to the average of that, which comes out to the value of 2.5 million, or £2,515,032.43. So according to his math, gold has kept up with inflation, and if you had 11,000 sovereigns back into 1910 and passed it down to your children and their children, etc., they would still be able to buy a house on Chancery Lane in London and have enough money to furnish the place and buy a small house in the surrounding county to rent it out. His words, not mine. It's not the sovereign that retained the value, it's the gold in the sovereign which did. He also goes on to analyse this a bit further, which I think is the brilliant part. So anyone can look back at gold and say, okay, it gives all inflation. The problem most people have is they've been stacking silver, and silver is stagnating. It's not doing too well, and this is where the analysis is really interesting on his behalf. So he says, someone has asked, how does this compare to silver? So I've decided to have a look. 1 florin is a tenth of a pound, it weighs 11.31 grams, and in 1910 has a composition of 92.5 silver in it. So using our house in Chancery Lane, London, let's crunch the same numbers. So if 1 florin equals 11.31 grams times 0.925, it equals 10.46175 grams of silver in a florin. So 10.46175 grams times 10, the amount of florins in a 1910 pound, equals 104.6175 grams of silver. So 104.6175 grams of silver times 11,000, which is the house of the price, equals 1.15 million grams of silver, or to be exact, it's 1,150,792.5 grams of silver. So 1.15 million grams of silver divided by 31.1, which is the current amount of grams in a troy ounce, equals 33,002 troy ounces of silver and some change. So at current value, so current spot price is £12.2 an ounce. That would equal £451,436. Now you can see the differential. You can see that gold has kept up inflation and would purchase the house in Chancery Lane. And you can see that silver hasn't done so well. It won't be able to purchase the house in Chancery Lane. In fact, you will be short by a fair amount. However, this is where it gets really interesting. And it's a really good piece of analysis on Jay's behalf. I'll give him that. So he says it seems silver hasn't kept up with inflation as well as gold until you consider this. The silver to gold ratio has been traditionally on average 16 to 1. It's only recently it's gone to insane levels like 80 to 1. Personally, I think it's down to price manipulation, but that's another topic. So if we use the traditional ratio of 16 to 1, then we can look at the current numbers. So current spot price of gold is £971.28 divided by 16. That's where you get the 16 to 1 ratio, equals 60.771 per troy ounce. If it was at the 16 to 1 ratio, silver should be valued at 60.71 an ounce. So let's work out what that works out to. So 37,002 ounces, which is what we got going back to the Florin analysis, times 60.71 pence actually equals 2.25 million, or to be exact, 2,246,265 and change. Which is, it's there or thereabouts. You know, it would still buy you, or be close to buying you, a house in Chancery Lane. Now, I want to take this a step further. Gold and silver goes in cycles, and every cycle coincides with the stock market, the business cycle. So there'll be times where silver's low, and there'll be times where silver's high, and it will go like this. It's really difficult because it's the opposite way, so it will go like that. It will be a bell curve, and it will just go up and down, and it depends how long the cycle is. Some cycles will be long, maybe 15, 20 years. Some cycles will be short. It all depends on how quick the stock market goes. If you were to buy at the bottom of the cycle and kept it, and sold at the top of the cycle, your money will be worth a lot more. With silver, there is a bigger differential in premiums, and also how quickly the price goes up to gold. Whilst I don't have the numbers, unlike Jay, it's easy to see. If you look at the charts, that's what happens. So for those of you who are worrying about the price of silver and gold not moving anywhere, that is a very good example. That's only 100 years. So this house was in 1910. We're now in, I was going to say 1918. We're now in 2018. And it has kept up with inflation. And the reason it has kept up with inflation, for gold especially, is because they cannot increase it without effort. It's not like printing money. See, I was reading something recently, because I'm actually in the process of writing a book about buying and selling, and it said inflation is not the process of prices going up. Inflation is the process of your money going down. And it makes sense. If you transfer your money into an asset that cannot be manipulated, it will keep up with the real value of goods and services, i.e. inflation. So I think it's a very good example. I want to thank Jay for putting it out there. I don't know how long he spent on it. Knowing him, probably about 10 minutes whilst having a coffee. So yeah, I hope this has been of use, and hopefully I can sort out all the niggly little issues such as the sound, etc. going forward. And I hope you like, subscribe, and take care.